Welcome to Palio's Chalkboard Thursday. If you're wondering, yes, that is a horse. We are shooting in Saratoga Springs, New York, home of the oldest thoroughbred racetrack and sporting venue in the United States, Saratoga Racecourse, and home to Palio. We're an advertising agency. Over the next few weeks, we are going to fill this chalkboard with insightful, thought-provoking topics around branding, marketing, and multi-channel integration within pharma. So sit back and enjoy Palio's Chalk Chat.
One way that we as pharmaceutical marketers gain strategic insights and develop tactical communications to support our brands is to conduct market research. So you hit New York City, Chicago, and LA and conduct one-on-one interviews with perhaps 8 patients or physicians in each city. And this assumes full recruitment and no cancellations. So your total N is 24 subjects. With potential blockbuster brands and multi-million-dollar marketing budgets on the line, there's certainly a lot riding on this N of 24 to answer those important strategic questions. Perhaps a bigger limitation is that responses given in market research are very subjective in nature, and they may not necessarily reflect how people actually approach health-related issues. While market research does have value, I do question, are we really getting the best information to shape the marketing strategy for our brands? As we move into 2013 and beyond, I foresee an important shift in how we evaluate the behaviors of patients and prescribers, which will be more analytical and therefore a more objective approach to gain insight. This shift will be brought about by the HITECH Act, a federal mandate that incentivizes healthcare providers to implement electronic health record, or EHR technology, into their practices. Stage 1 was enacted in 2011, in which meaningful use of basic EHR functionality must be incorporated into the clinical setting. Very soon, Stage 2 of the HITECH Act will bring advanced clinical processes to the EHR system, the goal of which is a more rigorous electronic exchange of health information across multiple settings, more use of e-prescribing, and better incorporation of lab results into a patient's record. As a result of this advancement in technology, we'll start to collect a comprehensive view of each patient and the care received from his or her doctor. For example, we will know when a patient seeks medical care, and the signs and symptoms they present with will tell us why. We will know the physician's differential diagnosis, the results of lab tests, and the subsequent treatment course. More importantly, we will know clinical outcomes. Once this level of EHR technology is fully implemented, there will be big sets of data on a population level, an enormous amount of patient-specific data for each and every patient in the U.S. healthcare system. No longer will you have an N of 24 to answer your important marketing questions. Your N could potentially be in the hundreds of thousands, if not millions. Now we're just in the dawn of this era of big data brought about by EHR technology. But as the technology develops and full-on EHR utilization increases, pharma has the opportunity to evolve with it. So how can this new source of data be applied to pharmaceutical marketing? EHR data can be used for observational research in the real-world setting to get an objective view of the patient and his or her medical condition. We'll gain a better understanding of disease by being able to look at the natural progression of disease, the burden of illness in an individual patient in real time. By analyzing the clinical care received and the physician prescribing decisions documented in a patient's EHR, we can learn more about the treatment approach, the competitive landscape, all within a given therapeutic category. This can help with the clinical development of an experimental drug because a better understanding of the target population and unmet clinical need can inform the design of clinical trials as well as optimize the efficacy and safety endpoints. If you think about how clinical trials are currently conducted, no longer will there be a sit and wait period of months or even years until patients reach a predefined endpoint, only after which the data can be analyzed. Data collection through EHR technology allows real-time analysis that can be used for adaptive trial designs, which can make the clinical studies more efficient, more informative, and more likely to demonstrate the effect of an experimental drug. Once a drug is on the market, big data generated from EHR technology can inform us about market uptake and utilization patterns. Drug makers will be able to assess risk through pharmacovigilance metrics and generate comparative effectiveness and outcomes-based data all from EHRs. Clearly, the latter will be increasingly important in order to demonstrate the clinical value of a drug as we formulate payer marketing strategies in this time of healthcare reform. Looking ahead to 2015, Stage 3 of the HITECH Act will be implemented. This calls for the technology to enable a patient or their family or caregivers to access his or her EHR data and use mobile apps and other e-tools to help them manage their condition. For example, people living with diabetes can already use a mobile app to read blood glucose monitoring test strips and compile personal data on a mobile device. As we start to integrate medical device functionality into mobile technology, metrics on clinically useful biomarkers can be collected in real time and uploaded to the EHR in order to assess the effect of a drug. Looking further into the future, we can imagine the evolution of nanotechnology-based sensors that could autonomously report clinical metrics into a patient's EHR. The evolution and implementation of EHR technology has the potential to generate big data on the population level, but it does so in such a way that it is also patient-centric. It'll allow a much closer view into the individual patient's entire cycle of care, from when and why they seek medical attention, to the doctor's treatment approach and prescribing decisions, to therapeutic monitoring and measurement of clinical outcomes. EHR technology creates an integrated, real-time system, and the big data provided can give marketers much greater insight into the complexities of the patient and his or her clinical management. And ultimately, this will help us make better informed decisions on those important strategic questions. I'm Jim Mittler, a medical director at Palio, and thanks for watching this week's edition of Chalk Chat.